first of all, I want to congratulate everybody for showing up tonight. I love to see a full house. So the word's getting out that we have a beautiful building for a beautiful meeting time. So it sees me no pleasure that everything was full plus out there. So I'm not going to deny anybody for coming in here and listening to our to what the board says and do the outstanding representation of our school system. Before we get started, I'd like to just have a moment of silence just to reflect on everything that's happened in the past 2 months since we've not been here. And and if you have anything else that you want to reflect on, please do it this time, and we'll follow by the pledge. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call roll, please.
Caruso.
Here.
Daniel.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Dryden.
Here.
Hartsfield.
Here.
Jacobs. Mabry.
Here.
Nidert.
Here.
Rochelle.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Before we get started, do I have any additions or subtractions to the agenda? Very well. The first on the agenda tonight is recognitions for our educator, retired educator, and that's for Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Crusoe. I'm not going to turn this around, I'll just work off that back.
That's fine.
I want to thank Mr. Mabry for coming up with this idea. I enjoy this every time we do it. And I want to thank Mr. Atkins for adding sports staff and food to the recognition. I have a young lady here tonight that I want to recognize. Miss Jill Hurst School. Jill attended St. Joe Elementary School in March County. Most of you are not old enough to remember that school. Deal now. She attended Loretta High School. She earned her BS and her MA in Early Childhood Education from UNA, University of North Alabama. She got her plus 30 from Tennessee State. She's married to Tony Sewell, they had 2 sons and had 5 grandchildren. Miss Jill taught 5th and 6th grade at 5 Points her first year teaching. She taught kindergarten and 1st grade for 2 years at St. Joseph Elementary. She taught 6 years, 1st grade at South Point. That's where I got to know how good she is. Then she taught kindergarten for 27 more years at South Point School. Jill was of high demand and request for parents to have their children in her class. Jill foundationed her kids with the academic skills, but more importantly, she foundationed her kids with character, with challenges of themselves, with encouraging them. There was not a child, and I say this, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not. There's not a child she had in her total of 36 years teaching that didn't mean the world to her. And that's why I want to recognize her tonight as the retired employee of August. Jill.
In the central office.
I got to say that, buddy. So Mr. Atkins made a comment. The main reason I wanted her up here is she's a different lady. And that's a big part of the county thing. I'm taking advantage of my situation here because I'm also going to recognize some support staff people. If they will come to the door or come in, I don't know which way they want to do this. Family, please come look. Miss Joanne, Mr. Hubert, y'all stand right there, and I'm gonna brag on you, then you can come up and get your presentation. Mr. Hubert Cleveland, Miss Joanne Cleveland, husband and wife, served as custodians for 17 years total between them in South Market Street. We got lucky as they got unlucky and got them when fined one time. They came into school every day. Positive, smiling. They never came to work. They didn't have a job. They had a commitment and a dedication to that building, but first of all, those kids and faculty and staff were in there. They knew their duties when they got there. They'd come in early all the time. Teachers, a lot of teachers, I know y'all don't believe this, a lot of teachers come in 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. But they would go around in the areas they worked before they ever started knowing their jobs to see if they could help them do anything they needed done. Total commitment to everybody there. Smiles, see there? Warmth, character, and what I loved about both of them the most was they had their own job descriptions. They probably never saw the one in the board manual, probably never looked at it. Their job description was, how can I help? What can I do? Whatever's going on, tell me what I can help pull this off with. So I'm very proud and honored to present to you Mr. Hubert Cleveland and Miss Joanne Cleveland. She wants us up here, folks. Yeah, the family can come in too. Just come right here. We'll get them in there. Let's in line up. All of you, whoever is in here, come on, get in the booth.
The way the teachers, they don't
All right, ready?
have all this garbage.
Yeah, that was so good. That was perfect. Congratulations.
Yeah, the camera probably me. Thank you. I know, we were there together.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. This next recognition is something that we haven't done in a while, and I'm not too happy for him, but I'm not happy for the board because we usually don't have board members changed, and it's been, I don't know, it's been almost 4, 5, 6 years maybe, I don't know. But anyway, we're gonna, my next recognition is the board member. This is his last board meeting. And first I'd like to go over his accomplishments, which is, I've only got 2 pages, but if to make it shorter, I could go on for all night, just about, because Mr. Davis is, he's just an outstanding person, not only as a friend, not only as a board member, but an asset to this whole system. Just a few synopses of what he's done And again, I could go on all night on accomplishments, but Mr. Davis is married to Sharon of 46 years, and that, that's rarity right now. He has 2 children, Shannon Snyder and Nick Davis. And also, Nick and Sharon are in the school system, so was Sharon. So that whole family dedicated almost their whole life to this school system. Mr. Davis graduated at Middle Tennessee University with a bachelor's degree, then went on to get a University of Alabama degree, North Alabama degree in management, in Master's of Administration. He first got hired on August 15th of '75 at Loretta Elementary, now known as South Lawrence, from '85 to '86. 1997 and '98 became assistant principal of South Lawrence. In January of 2004, he became the director of schools until June of '07. If any of these dates don't correlate with what you have, please let us know. Mr. Davis retired after 40 years being in the school system, with one of those years as unsick pay. So he had a whole year that he could have retired with just being off. So 39 years of service, 1 year of unsick pay. Mr. Davis was on the Board of Education on September of 14 until tonight. So that's a long run. That's a long run. He has 2 grandchildren, Bratton and Braylon. Okay? I'm not going to go over, well, I'll say this, and I know he does this, and he loves UT Vols. So, I mean, I won't fault him for that, but, there he is. Mr. Davis, he's been chairman for, how many, 4, 5, 6 years?
I don't know.
You don't know. So he was chairman for a while, and he's taught me. He's taught me a lot. I mentored him for being chair, and man, what a great career. And you're welcome back here anytime. If I see your lovely face in the audience, I will ask, do you have anything to contribute? Because that's how wonderful you are. So we have a little gift for you, and I'd like all the board members to go up front to take a picture of you and present this to you. So if you wouldn't mind.
That's where I always have.
Open it up. There you go.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Just over there we go.
I'll bring these.
That is not
Pretty
right.
high to get them.
Okay, guys, ready for 1, 2, 3. We're gonna miss you. We're gonna miss you.
I want to thank Mr. Kevin for waiting now. But the main thing I want to say is all the time I put in the I wouldn't take a day off. Even though some of them I don't want to go over. But I wouldn't take a plane trip. I love kids. I love people that love kids. And
Thank you, Mr. Davis. And once again, I can't express how much this board really enjoys and loves you very much. So from the bottom of my heart, please come back. Please come back and be a part of the audience. And like I said, if I see you, I will ask for your opinion.
Thank you.
And evidently, I was just notified I failed to do the student recognition. So student recognition is from Loretta High School and Miss Lee. Sorry about that.
I do want to thank the board for allowing each of our schools the opportunity to recognize one of our many outstanding students. Tonight is obviously no exception. We are recognizing Braden Rice. Braden is an 11th grader, and he was nominated by his sophomore English teacher, Miss Trish Moore. Last year when he had her English class, he worked very hard despite all of his physical limitations. If he had to miss school for doctor's appointments, if he was feeling ill, he always made sure he did his work. She never had to modify anything for him. He always did it to the best of his ability with a smile on his face. Braden always has a very positive attitude. He always pushes himself to do his very best. His teacher said that she always looked forward to seeing him because he was always laughing and smiling. And if you ever meet Braden in the hall, he's always going to stop and talk to you and give you one of his great smiles. He truly wants to be at school. He's a motivator to all who know him. And it's my pleasure to recognize Braden as the Loretta High School Student of the Month.
Thank you, Braden. Mom and Dad. First on the agenda is consent items. A through E. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, A through E.
I got a motion to approve. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second, A through E. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Next, number 2 on report items. A, school report, and Ms. Lee, once again.
Y'all know we get extra points at Loretta because each year I have to go first. So y'all remember that next time, that we always get. I do want to thank you again. It is always an honor to come and brag about our schools. We always enjoy any time we get the opportunity to do that. And I prepared a packet just highlighting some of our successes, both academically and extracurricular. And I want to go through a little bit of this with you. I know you all are somewhat familiar with the term early post-secondary opportunities. All 3 of our high schools work really hard to prepare our students for their next phase of life. And one of the ways that we do that is through our early post-secondary opportunities. And you'll see some of the many on that first page, the many opportunities we offer at Loretta High School. We have these statewide dual credit courses. We have local dual credit. Many of our students earn the industry certifications in the Microsoft applications. One thing that we started last year was in our engineering program. We have several courses that our teacher works in conjunction with Columbia State so that our students can already have several hours in the engineering program if they choose to go to Columbia State. We have several advanced placement courses we offer on campus, and then our students also have the opportunity to participate in AP Access for All, where they can take advanced placement courses online. And for a small school like Loretta High School, this is a great opportunity because it's not easy to offer as many AP courses with a smaller staff. So with this online program, students are able to do that. We do have several dual enrollment opportunities. A new one that we were fortunate to add last year was Farming Operations Technology through TCAT Crump, and we had several students earn hours in that program. And then also you'll see a lot of the industry certifications we offer, and I know you all know how important that is for our students to be prepared when they enter the workforce with their OSHA certifications and other certifications that we offer. Then on the next page, I do want to brag a little bit about our TN Ready scores. I know the past few years with COVID, the schools have suffered. You know, we've had learning loss with students not being at school. But we, last year, I feel like our students gained leaps and bounds. On that first chart you can see in Algebra 1, the prior year in 2021, which was the year we were hybrid, remote, all which ways of instruction, we only had 5.7% of our students who met or exceeded expectations, and last year that increased to 40%, and we were the highest in the district there. You'll see the district scores next to us. Biology, we were higher than the district score. English 1, we increased dramatically and were higher than the district. Overall, all of our subjects did really well. We are very, very proud of our teachers and students for working so hard. And then at the bottom of the page, in the TBOS, which are the growth scores, those were just released this past week. And our school overall was a 4, which that's on a scale of 1 to 5. So we are very, very proud of our staff. The prior year we were a 1, so we increased from a 1 to a 4. And you'll notice that there on in that column, we had several areas, Algebra 1 and Biology, that were a 5. Algebra 2 was a 4. And so overall, we did really well, and again, we increased dramatically over the previous year. And so we plan to really celebrate our students and our teachers for all of their hard work. As you know, in a normal year, it is not easy being an educator. It's not easy being a student, but with all the obstacles they faced in the past couple years, we feel like they've really risen to the challenge and done an excellent job. On the next page, you'll see our chronic absenteeism rate. Obviously, that rate did increase, and that's the rate you like to see decrease. But that, again, is from the COVID year. We had 12.8% of our students. The district rate was 19%, so we were below that, which was great. You'll see our Ready Grad, which that goes back to the number of EPSOs and ACT scores. And then our grad rate was 99.2%. I probably won't be able to stand here next year to say that increased because that one's a little bit hard to increase. But in all 3 of those areas, we were the highest high school. We had the best chronic absenteeism rate, the highest Ready Grad, and the best grad rate among the 3 high schools. So again, we're very, very proud of that. Our folks have worked really hard. Then at the bottom of that page, you'll see the passing rate on the advanced placement exams. The top 3 are courses that we have in-house, and then the bottom part of that chart is the passing rate for the AP Access for All. And a couple of those, yes, they are 100%. We had, I think, 1 student that was enrolled in some of those, but that was a great opportunity for him. And those are college-level courses, so those exams that they take are very, very difficult. Then the next page, you'll see our post-secondary going rate. Those numbers include students going to technical school, college, or the military. Then you'll see our dual enrollment. Again, we have a lot of students who dual enroll through TCAT Pulaski in either plumbing and electrical or welding. And you can see how many credit hours they earn, and those are great opportunities for our students. We're very fortunate to have that on campus. And then TCAT Crump with the farming operations, our students earned 5,400 hours in that last year with that being a new program. And then through Columbia State, our students earned 479 credits. So as you see, our students are leaving us prepared for that next step by being able to gain these dual enrollment hours. So it's another great opportunity, and we appreciate the board. I know you always support those dual enrollment opportunities. Then I've listed our students who compete academically through Columbia State each year. We had several winners in several areas. The ACT, that's an area we truly do focus on. I know that's always been an area Mr. Atkins is passionate about as well. We have ACT prep on campus that we have a gentleman come in out of Florence to provide that. We offer students many incentives. The ACT is an area we're working really hard to increase from COVID, and we continue to do that. In fact, ACT prep starts for our seniors next Tuesday because they will have their retake in October. I've listed our 10 CTE areas that we offer at Loretta High School. I know last year I was so pleased to stand before you and show you pictures of our new cosmetology room, and that was a overall success last year. Our students loved that. It was another opportunity for our kids, and that it was amazing having that opportunity. This year I think we'll be at the point where we can hopefully offer services to the public and give our students even more of an opportunity. So that's fantastic. All of our CTE courses have student organizations, and I know you hear lots about those, see things about them on Facebook. They're very active. Our virtual enterprise, which is taught by Miss Mary Pack, is a fantastic program. They made the top 50 list of virtual enterprise firms again. We're very proud of them. They were first place in the Tennessee State Business Plan, and they were able to represent our state at the National Business Plan Finals in New York this past spring. And there's also some other competition results from them. FBLA, we had many students compete. One student was the highest in the state of Tennessee on the Microsoft Office Specialist exam, and he was able to represent Tennessee this past summer in Texas. Community service is another area we feel very passionate about. We teach our students how important it is to serve others. And so through community service opportunities, each year our seniors participate in the Lends a Hand Day. They go to different businesses in our area and just give back. As you know, our students are always asking businesses for donations and for help, and the businesses in Lawrence County are fantastic to help us. So each year our students go and give back a little portion of what they've given to us. The Beta Club this past year raised over $12,000 for St. Jude. We're very proud of them. We do have a food pantry at Loretta High School. Many churches help us, and then also our clubs raise money for that, and that provides food, toiletries, and needed items to our own students and their families. I've listed some of our accomplishments of our band, our fine arts program, and then the last 2 pages you will see some of the accomplishments of our sports teams. We did have several teams attend the state tournament again this past year, so I've added to show that. We've also this past year had another Miss Basketball winner, another Tennessee Gatorade Player of the Year, and have recently had another former graduate who was drafted into the MLB. So we're very proud of our athletes. We know they work very hard for our school. They represent our school in a great fashion, and we're proud of all our students and teachers for their hard work. Again, you all know it's not easy, but we appreciate the support that you always give us and appreciate all you do for our students. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to brag just a little bit about our school.
Thank you. Does anybody have a question for Jennifer? Outstanding job. Moving on to item B, building program update.
Good evening, board members. We'll start on Summertown, and as some of you may already know, we have completed the existing cafeteria renovations, and the school is currently using that area. We have completed the 2 renovated hallways in what we're calling Part A and Part B of the existing school. Those are finished. The little 4 classroom addition in the back, we're getting ready to lay floor tile on Monday, and as soon as we get that laid, we'll wax the floors and then be ready for the state fire marshal to come do his inspection and be able to turn that over to Mr. Henson in the next couple of weeks. The 6 or 8 classrooms that we're calling Part A, we're getting ready to start putting the ceiling grids in next week, which will allow us to put lights and HVAC grills in. We'll get state electrical above ceiling inspection, and that'll let us start the flooring And then in a couple weeks after that, be able to get our fire marshal to inspect that one. So, while all that's going on, we'll be finishing the site work, the grading, the paving out back, putting sod down, and hopefully everything will be finished other than the kitchen by the end of September on that one.
Before we go on, does anybody have any questions about the summertime? Go ahead.
When you were last here, I asked a question of how much money you anticipate saving on any of the jobs, but we're talking about summertime now. And I haven't heard. Do you have a figure?
I sent an email to Mr. Atkins. We're not going to know what the figures are to the end of the project, and then we'll add up everything.
You don't have a running total.
I mean, yeah, we keep a budget going every month, but to know the exact number, we're not going to know till we finish.
Okay.
But what I had told Mr. Atkins, everything is looking good for Summertown, and we're hoping that it comes in under our guaranteed maximum price.
What date do you anticipate being out of Summertown?
I'm hoping that we're gone in September, other than the cafeteria, the kitchen. Some of the kitchen equipment won't be here till after Thanksgiving. So we have helped the school set up a temporary kitchen inside the renovated cafeteria area where they're feeding the students. We got some major appliances. In fact, I think it's just 2 or 3 of them that the parts are in China and we can't get them. And so as soon as we get those, and the anticipated date is about Thanksgiving, then we'll be able to complete the kitchen. And the thought process is, and what Miss Simpson and Mr. Henson and all of us worked out, is we'd leave that temporary set up in the dining room until we got the kitchen 100% done, and we'll swap over during the Christmas shutdown.
And you've made the repairs that I asked about, specifically on the conduit outside the building that was broken?
Yeah, the conduit, that was fixed before we was ever at this last update.
Is it fixed according to code?
Yes, sir, it is. Yeah.
I have a few questions, Mr. Chairman.
Is it about summertime?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm sorry, what was your name?
Billy Hill.
Billy Hill.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hill, we had an incident at Summertown site where one of your subcontractors got into the geothermal. I have asked Mr. Atkins to run some numbers, and I'm looking at a total of $3,216.75 that incident cost the school system. Do you intend to reimburse the school system?
Yes, sir. I told Mr. Atkins when that number got passed to us that we would take care of that and it would be no cost to the school for it.
Now, the repair, y'all took care of the repair, but
Yes,
I'm
sir.
talking
Yeah, for
the
your
bus,
bus.
the extra gas that we had to spend on bus duties, and then the money and labor of our own maintenance men responding to that call.
Yes, sir. We'll take care of that cost. All we need is Mr. Atkins send us an invoice on that and we'll take care of it.
All right, and then somewhere along the line, I can't remember which month it was, but I believe you guys submitted a change request pertaining to the floor in the cafeteria. I'm wondering why that, or how that got missed. You're in the business of going in and evaluating sites and what's got to be done. How did you miss such an egregious?
Remember, we're your construction managers, not your architect and your engineers. So those were not on the documents. In fact, I'm not even sure the school realized how unlevel that floor was until we took the old tile up.
I'll direct that question to the architect.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And we then brought it to everyone's attention that this was the time, if you was ever going to change it, was to level that floor, and that's what we did.
And then finally, I guess just a statement. I believe myself and the rest of the board were under the, or at least I was, under the understanding that the goal and purpose and plan all along was to have this complete before start of school this year.
Absolutely.
I'm very disappointed in the fact that it's not. I live in that community and I drive by, there's many Saturdays, and that no work is being done. And just other than stating I'm disappointed in y'all's sense of urgency to get the job completed?
We have worked the last 4 Saturdays at Summertown, and as you know, with what's going on in the world is out of our control on being able to get labor, just like y'all have trouble getting labor, can't get materials, and I apologize for it, but our intent was to be through with that project prior to the school, and be honest with you, I'm happy to be able to tell y'all that we're gonna be done in September, which is a month later, with all the things that's going on in the world.
Thank you.
And I apologize for that, so.
Okay, go ahead. Go with the rest of it.
All right, on Kaufman, it's a chore up there, no doubt. I think we got every part of that campus tore up, some form, fashion. We are, this week, put the ceiling grid in the new office addition, the bigger part of the project. We get lights laid in, we're getting air turned on. We're getting ready to have above ceiling inspection, which will allow us then to put the ceiling tile in and start the floor in there. So I think we decided today in the next 3 weeks, we ought to be close to getting ready for the state fire marshal to come do an inspection on that part of the building. The back part, which is part B and where the kitchen and cafeteria is, we hope to start putting ceilings in there next week. And it'll follow that same suit, get the grid in, get the lights in, get above ceiling inspections, start the floor tile. And now Kaufman, we have all the kitchen equipment. It's in a warehouse in Memphis, the federal equipment has. They're waiting on us to tell them when to bring it and hook it up. We're anticipating that happening sometime in September. While all of that's going on, same thing, we're going to be working towards sites. We're getting sidewalks finished. We'll get the site guy there, get the parking lots ready. Hopefully we can get Rogers there to pave when time comes. So it's just a lot going on there.
Is there any questions about Kaufman?
When do you
Go
think
ahead,
it's
Nico.
when do you think it's gonna be complete?
My best guess is probably going to be in October. We talked about it today in the progress meeting, that was there a need in trying to work toward getting the office area finished and turned over, and then doing part B, and I think all of us agreed, including the school, that Mr. Tucker was there, that we needed to just get done with all of it and be ready, and Mr. Brett was on board with that
So you
too, so
anticipate the 1st of October,
sometime in October.
sometime in October?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the north west corner of the gymnasium where it's been hit over there with some type of piece of equipment?
Where brick's been busted? Yes, sir. We have authorized the masons to fix that. So it's just that got in the rotation yet to get him back. But yeah, we're gonna take care of that.
Any other questions? Kaufman? All right, go ahead, Mr. Lee.
All right, on Loretta, it's a lot going on out there as well, and some of you that's been out there realizes that's a big gym. So, we have the main gym, laid up, topped out with the CMU walls. The big beams has been installed, decking is being installed, and we're ready in the next week or so, hopefully, to get that area in the drive with the roof. We're trying to, and we got the plumbers at Kaufman in Summertown, but we're hoping to be able to get them to a point so that they can get back to Loretta, the lobby and the locker area. We like some underneath the floor slab getting roughed in, and then we pour the slabs and get the block men back to bring those up. We hope to start the framing for the drive-it that goes around the top half of the gym in the next 2 weeks. So just a lot going on there.
What is the expected completion date of the gym?
I think we're looking at April. And I think that's been a date since we actually got turned loose on that, was sometime in April.
Any other questions from Mr. Hill? Does that conclude your update?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
I'll move on to.
I want to make a comment. That
Go
was
ahead.
mighty nice what y'all did for the young man and what you're doing for your board member over there. So I was proud to be a part of that.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
We always try to be seen nice. Going on to C, personnel items and athletics supplements. I believe that was in your packet. Mr. Rockett, do you have anything to add?
No, sir, other than the information that you have before you. It's been a busy summer for our Human Resources Department, but they've done an outstanding job, and I will speak to that during the director's update.
Very good. Going on to D, and that's director's update. You can have it there.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Positive start to the 22-23 academic year. A successful summer school program. Once again, many thanks to all the teachers and support staff, bus drivers, everyone who played a part in making that successful. School safety update. We will have Officer Dorning speak to this in September, but I will just give you a brief overview. Continues to be a priority for the school system. We've updated our surveillance system. We've reinforced our safety protocols with faculty and staff. Our SROs are performing additional tasks to ensure campuses are safe. Tennessee Highway Patrol has visited our schools as a part of the governor's plan. So they have been in almost every school, and we continue to monitor and upgrade and address issues that we see that need to be addressed, not so much an issue at the time, but looking down the road and how can we correct something or address something before it becomes a problem. It's a forward-thinking approach. Many thanks to our SROs who do that, and to Lieutenant Dorning for overseeing that for the principals and for the school system.
I want to interject here on what you just talked about our safety. In the recent past months, you all hear in the news where there's been intrusion in the schools, not ours, but in different throughout the country. And I just want to commend what Lieutenant Dorning's doing and his outstanding staff and the board as well. About 5-6 years ago, this board committed, and it was a highly committed, and it was almost a demand that this county and this school system put all SRO officers in our schools, and we achieved that. Many schools in this country do not have that, and we are very, very lucky to have that. And I know this board knows deep down in our hearts, if there is any type of intrusion in any of our schools, we know that none, and I can contest to this, that I know in my heart that no students would be fatally harmed in that intrusion. So once again, on behalf of the Sheriff's Department, on behalf of all SRO officers that we have, I commend y'all. I really do. And it's just, I feel highly secure that our schools are secure. So, there you go, Mr. Rackett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our health and safety plan will have to be updated, and we'll present that to the board later tonight. But that is a procedural thing we do every 6 months until 2023. We have to address the issues. We provide our folks with an opportunity to give feedback on ESSER and the safety plan. So that will be addressed a little bit later. From our school nutrition food service, all of the students in the Lawrence County school system will eat breakfast and lunch free this year. That's because of the work of Mrs. Simpson and Mrs. McKissick in the food service office, but they have done a tremendous job to provide our students breakfast and lunch, and also a relief to some of our parents with the way things are in the economy. So many thanks to those ladies for the great work they're doing. You have the fall sports schedules before you tonight. I just wanted to remind the board, you authorized me in the spring, May, I believe, June, to approve overnight stays, postseason play in athletics, as well as academic teams, our Skills USA, our robotics teams, and so forth. I just wanted to remind the board that I will be making those decisions rather than having Mr. Caruso approve overnight stays for athletic competitions and state tournament and academic competitions and state tournament as well. Our enrollment numbers are looking great. Mrs. Truitt in student management provided me with numbers today. Enrollment in Lawrence County, 7,076 students. Our Pioneer Virtual Academy, 154. Our pre-K program, 212. And K-12 education, 6,710 students. Our school-based counseling services that the board approved to move forward with has been received well. They're already making contact. They're working with students, and that has been received well, and I thank the board and the county commission for their vision in addressing an issue that's developing not only in Lawrence County, Tennessee, but throughout the nation. As I mentioned earlier, a busy summer for human resources, Mrs. Thompson and Mrs. Burks. Over 100 transactions took place with 51 new hires, ranging from beginning to seasoned educators, food service, student transportation. Those ladies do a remarkable job in there, considering how much work has to take place to bring a person on board to work for the school system. So they do a wonderful job with that. Our building progress, you heard the report from Mr. Hill. It is moving slower than what we hoped, but progress is being made. I visit the schools every week. I visit the job sites on the weekend, and I can see progress being made there, but it is a slow process. Dr. Glass and I released information regarding the third grade retention law. That is something passed by the state, and we have put that information out to the public. We will continue to do that. We'll have our principals address that. That is a hot topic in the state of Tennessee, and we will continue to make our parents aware of it and our teachers so that we can be on the front end of that and be ahead of it. Some embargoed test scores, data from our test scores. We've seen some positives. You heard that from Dr. Littleton tonight, and we've seen some areas of concern. We're about in line with the state, and where they're seeing positives and negatives, it fluctuates. Our biggest concern, of course, going forward is chronic absenteeism. That is a problem that we will address as the school year progresses. But I'm very pleased with the teachers. I'm pleased with the work that they've done. They give their best each and every day. They come to work in some of them at difficult times in their personal lives, but they come in and they put on a smile and they work with our kids, and they're to be commended for the great work they're doing. And I would hate for a test score to attempt to reflect the dedication and effort of our men and women. We're going to continue to work hard educating our kids, do the things that we need to do. Later tonight, you're going to hear from Mrs. Watson about the great work taking place in career technical education, and later this year, Mrs. Ridgway will present to the board academic numbers, so you'll have an understanding of what we're doing, how well we did in some areas, and where we got some things to improve on. And finally, again, I just want to say how proud I am of the teachers and the great work they do each and every day for Lawrence County, its community, its students, its parents. We're very blessed and fortunate to be where we are. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And I also sediment that feeling towards all of our staff, all the way up from the custodian, all the way to the bus drivers, to the cafeteria workers, and teachers. They do an outstanding job for us, and welcome back to another great year that I know it's going to be. Moving on to CTE update. Ms. Watson.
Good evening. So earlier during the summer, I shared with Mr. Adkins the numbers for all of our work-based learning, industry certifications, as well as the dual enrollment hours and credits that were earned by Lawrence County School System students this past school year. We are just so pleased with those numbers, and those numbers are nothing short of a reflection of the true educators that we have within our programs and our students, because our teachers are so passionate about making sure our students are successful. And I just am so proud to work alongside all of the CTE instructors throughout the school year. So just to go back, Dr. Littleton did go over Loretto's numbers just a little bit, but as a district, to have 924 industry certs achieved by our students is pretty significant. When you think about how many high school students that we have in Lawrence County schools, that's almost half. So that's just in one school year. Some of those students will have an opportunity to even earn more. This past week, I was talking with Mr. Cheatwood at Lawrence County High School about a job opportunity for people who have their OSHA 10 certification with TVA. And if you have that OSHA certification, you automatically bump up in the interview process. And it was like a $16, $18 job. So we have so many students. If you look at our numbers of our OSHA 10 certificates, you could see how many of our kids would qualify to bump up in that interview process. So in Lawrence County Schools, we had 924 industry certs. Of those, you have your MOS, which is your Microsoft Word. Yes, we did for the first time have a student that was the highest in Tennessee and was able to represent us in Texas. That was a huge thing for Lawrence County School System. That was a Loretta High School student, so we're very proud of that young man and the opportunity that he was given. This past year, we added EMR, which is your basic EMS industry cert at Lawrence County High School. We hope to add that back. We added it at Loretto 2 years ago, but we're hoping to add that at Summertown very soon. In addition to that, we hope to add a forklift certification. That's another wonderful skill for our students. So that, with innovative dollars that Lawrence County Schools has been given, I see that happening sooner than later, if we can find some forklifts that we can afford. I'm begging on Facebook, I promise, to get some industry partners to help us. So looking at dual enrollment data, last school year we did add a partnership with TCAT Crump because they were the first closest to us to offer the agriculture programs to our students. Loretta High School jumped on it. McLean Bryant, I'm so proud of him. We had Lawrence County School students, Lawrence County High School and Summertown, and there should be more. That is a big deal. Those students get the opportunity to earn many hours, and then they can turn right around and re-enroll to finish that certification that is offered quicker. So we're thankful for that and look forward to growing that quite a bit. We've got lots of good things going on. Our TCAT Hohenwald enrollment, we had 116 people enrolled this past school year. TCAT Pulaski, probably our largest number because we have so many of those teachers housed on our campuses, which is a great thing. 321 students took advantage, and then at TCAT Crump we had 78. So I'm very, very proud of those numbers. And again, that is nothing more than a reflection of our teachers and our students and their hard work. I look forward to expanding. My goal, when I came into this job and they started talking about EPSOs, I really knew then that we needed to ensure in Lawrence County schools, every single program has an industry cert and a dual enrollment option for our students. And guys, we're almost there. We're almost there, and I'm so thankful for that. But your support is very much appreciated. And I didn't say Columbia State. Columbia State, we did add an engineering dual enrollment option for our students this year, in addition to your regular academic classes that students can take at Columbia State. So 184, I had to put my glasses on, 184 students enrolled at Columbia State this past school year. That does include our engineering programs at Loretta High School and Lawrence County High School. Hopefully soon we'll be able to add engineering back at Summertown, and we can add that to the Summertown High School portfolio as well. Thank you.
Any questions from Ms. Watson?
Thank you so much.
Moving on to F, ESSER update. Mr. Atkins.
Mr. Chairman, this is mentioned this in the weekly update. Pursuant to the established guidelines from the Tennessee Department of Education and the U.S. Department of Education, systems receiving ESSER funds, which Lawrence County has received all 3 ESSER allotments, we are required to get stakeholder feedback, which we have started. feedback and comments on our ESSER financial planning, as well as our health and safety protocols. Right now, we're around 120 responses, and that just opened. We're required to do this until 2023. Also, Coordinated School Health Federal Programs and School Safety have updated documents to reflect the efforts to keep schools open, address the issues of COVID, conduct surveys, parental engagement. We've held informal meetings with parents to establish the plan that is in place. So we feel that we are meeting the requirement, but I'm required to notify the board of the process, and we're doing that. We've had overwhelming support of our plan. We've presented that numerous times. We were approved by the state numerous times, and our stakeholders have an opportunity to share their concerns. Mrs. Ridgway will present a budget to the board before the November board meeting, so you can get a better idea of what we're continuing to do with ESSER dollars to benefit students and teachers in Lawrence County.
Any questions regarding that? Moving on to G, Executive Committee approvals, and that was 5 of them that Michael and I had approved. The bids for resurfacing for parking lots for Ingram South and David Crockett, both totaling $116,955. Also, Lawrence County High School volleyball overnight trip. Also, Lawrence County High School Skills USA overnight trip. And the demolition of the Summertown High School gym, which was the bid of $54,000. Any of the board members have any questions regarding those executive committee approvals? Very good. Moving on to H, LCEA.
Hello. I had several teachers ask me to bring this up. The General Assembly passed the Age Appropriate Materials Act of 2022, and you have to catalog the books in your collections and library. And teachers are being told that they have to catalog the books in their classrooms also. And they were saying that please contact your legislators. We know it's already passed as a law, but they were saying that they don't think anybody has any idea of how many books a teacher has in their room and the amount of time that it's going to take to either type those up into a document to give to our librarian or to find some kind of program to scan the back of the book and make the list. It's going to be very time consuming for some people. But anyways, I was asked to bring that up and make sure that the board realized that it's not just the librarians, it's also the teachers that are having to do this in their classrooms as well.
Any questions? Thank you. Moving on to I, Tennessee Legislative Network. Ms. Brenda is not here today. Mr. Paul came in a little late. Do you have anything to add to that?
Commenting on what she just said, Ms. Atkins requested I look at that law, which I've done, and also a memo from the General Counsel for the Department of Education. And unfortunately, she's absolutely correct. The law is horribly overbearing, and it's obvious that the legislators who passed it have no idea what goes on in the classroom, particularly in the elementary classroom. But the law does require, unfortunately, that you list every single matter, piece of paper, document that a kid might be exposed to. And my wife this morning, when she overheard me speaking to Mr. Atkins, she having taught third grade in this system for 30 years, said, do these people have any idea what they're asking for? I said, no, ma'am, the legislature doesn't. But unfortunately, it is now the law on how you address it, other than to try to give them a little bit of time, if you can, to accomplish it, because it's going to be a tremendous burden on classroom teachers to comply with statutes, no question about it.
And I'll add to that, Mr. Atkins, can we look at that and, I don't know, I guess, I know the librarians have a lot to do, and also the students.
Chairman, I don't think it's the librarians, it's probably
Well,
the librarians. I think the library probably has their stuff in place.
Exactly.
Pretty nearly, they have a pretty good inventory, I would suspect. But the classroom teacher, an elementary classroom, I've never been in one, but I know about it because I live with a former teacher. And
Yes.
her explanation to me is,
I live with two of them.
it's very common to put a basket of books in the corner of the room, which may have 60 or 70 or 85 books in it. And when your students get ahead of their work, go pick a book and read it. Well, teacher's gonna have to list every single one of those books, plus any one she might think she might bring them home to put on this list. That's absurd.
That is,
That's what the law says.
yeah, that's a lot. So can we kind of look into it or just kind of see what we can do?
Yes, sir, we'll do it.
If there's any questions regarding that? Moving on to G, plans for the TSBA Fall District Meeting, and that will be in Franklin County at September 22nd. If anybody would like to go to that, I think we, in the past, we have all gathered in a van and traveled down there, so if you're interested in that, just let Mr. Atkins know. We can also do that as well. Being in Franklin County is pretty far away, so. Anyway. Moving on to consideration items, 3 budget items. A, fuel bid. Mr. Atkins, or Jessica?
Yeah, Mrs. Elledge, if you want to address that.
Yes, we opened these bids on Tuesday of this week, and we only had one bidder submit a bid, Edwards Oil, so we're asking for approval to move forward with the fuel bid for this fiscal year.
Motion we approve Edwards Oil.
I've got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Call roll.
Caruso,
Aye.
Daniel,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Dryden,
Yes.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Mabry,
Aye.
Nodder,
yes.
Rochelle,
Yes.
8 ayes.
Motion carried. Moving on to B, spray installation and bid for Lawrenceburg Public Schools.
Mr. Chairman, this is something that we started last year with a number of schools. Lawrenceburg Public is our last school to have the foam insulation to the top part of the gym instead of the traditional insulation that breaks loose and falls. The bid actually is a little bit lower than what we anticipated with fuel costs, so we're very pleased to see that price. But this will be our last school that will receive this type of work to address some issues that we're developing from age of gymnasiums and the issue that our teachers were facing, our kids were facing in those gyms.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we approve that.
I've got a motion on the floor to approve. Do I have a second? I have a second. Please call roll.
Caruso,
Aye.
Daniel,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Dryden,
Yes.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Mabry,
Aye.
Nodder,
Yes.
Rochelle,
Yes.
8 ayes.
Motion passed. Moving on to item 4, personal items for consideration, additional teaching position.
Mr. Chairman, with the growth of the school system, now over 7,000, and ratios in K3 grade levels, we're requesting an additional teaching position to be placed somewhere in the Lawrence County school system to get us back in line or in ratio with state guidelines.
What grade level was that?
It's going to be K3.
K3.
Move to approve.
Second.
I've got a motion to approve in a second. Please call roll.
Mr. Caruso,
Aye.
Daniel,
Yes.
Davis,
Aye.
Dryden,
Yes.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Mabry,
Aye.
Nodder,
Yes.
Rochelle,
Yes.
8 ayes.
Motion carries. Moving on to item 5, policy items for consideration, discussion, and action. Since we have so many tonight, we can make a motion to approve all 10, or we can go individually.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I feel that Mr. Atkins and his staff have reviewed all of these, and I would assume that they have approved them, so I move that, as a board, that we approve these changes.
We have a motion on the floor to approve A through J. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion to approve in a second. Are there any questions regarding these policies?
I do have a question, Mr. Atkins. You and I have spoke privately, but just so it's on record, policy 4.600, policy 4.6001, grading systems, and then grading systems K8. In these policies, as we read, it states that the testing and our end of course exams will not be, we're removing the statement where it says that they will not be counted on the final grades. And in your conversation, you stated that it's because we have since initiated another policy that states that these are being held. So we're just taking it off this policy and putting it on another policy.
Yes, sir. The percentage required by the state will be applied to 3rd through 12th grade. And there's a different percentage for each of those grade levels, 5, 10, and 15%. But that is under the testing policy where it spells out that. And that was a recommendation by Tsba.
Yeah, I understood that. I just wanted to make sure we got that read into the minutes. Thank you.
Any other further questions regarding these policies? All in favor, by motion saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. A through J policies are passed. Moving on to item 6, other items for consideration. Under A, purchase of additional Chromebooks for emergency connectivity funds.
Mr. Chairman, this is something Mr. Hobbs and the Technology Department has worked on, and I wanted to give him the opportunity to address the board. I think it's an opportunity, one, to highlight the great work taking place in technology, but also what they've been able to do for our students.
I give you all the document where we got approval. This is huge for us. Usually we come to you this time of year asking for a lot of money to replace some Chromebooks. So the emergency foundation, a connectivity fund, had a grant out there. And because of our social status and because of everything going on in our district, we were able to apply for this. So when they asked us some things that we needed, the Chromebooks was at the top of our list. There was other items that you could use in this funding, mainly Wi-Fi for students and that kind of stuff. But you know, with our needs, with the way our Chromebooks is, that was our highest need. So when somebody offers me free money, I'm going to take as much possible as I can get. So we applied for about 2,400 Chromebooks, and as you can see, we're awarded $892. So that's quite a bit of funding to come in that's going to cost us $0. Cost us a little bit of time and effort applying for this grant, but as you can see, I got this letter on August the 10th telling us we have funding for it. So we're ready to go ahead and get this purchase on the way. It cost us $0 to our budget, so it's a big asset to our students to have 2,400 new Chromebooks coming in.
Any questions for Mr. Hobbs?
Well done, thank you.
Good work, very good work. Do you need approval of anything tonight, or are you good to go? Or?
This all falls under our usual stuff that we do, so I think we're good.
We're good. Very well. Moving on, approval of Student Disciplinary Hearing Authority Board or Committee. Mr. Atkins.
And this is headed up by Mrs. Cope, and it's an annual approval. These folks give of their time to come over and be a part of a disciplinary hearing, provide a great service to the board, to the school system, and to the students and parents.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries by a voice vote. And C, final, next board meeting will be September 15th at 5 o'clock. I believe that has moved since the district meeting is on the 22nd. So make sure everybody notes that at 5 o'clock. And also, does anybody have questions about that? I also want to remind everybody the swearing in ceremony for the newly elected board members, which would be I think one's going to come on board, and the rest of them have been obtained. So that'll be September 1st at 11 o'clock at the courthouse. So that's a pretty big deal for the county. So before I adjourn, does anybody have any questions, comments?
I do have a question for the director. Mr. Director, going back to the conversation with Mr. Hill, you and Jessica planning on getting this invoice sent back to them for
Yep.
the damages?
Yes, sir. We'll have that out sometime this week, probably the first of the week, the time we gather everything.
You think that those numbers that you share with me, you think that's the full amount, or you think there may still be some more
Well,
to that?
those are the numbers that came from those department chairs, Mr. Rogers and Mr. Brown, so I'm guessing they're pretty spot on.
Thank you.
Anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.